Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Tim in Green Bay. What's going on over there, Emilio?
Cat, man. Cat wants to know what's going on.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Unbelievable. Well, right now we're showing decent connection. All right, we're in good shape. If you guys listen to that absolute catastrophe of a show last night. First of all, the guys did a great day holding that thing together. But there was multiple people having problems with StreamYard. Not sure what the issue was. They unrolled a new feature on everybody and automatically activated it. That didn't help matters, but it looks like we're going to be in good shape here. I mean, we've already made it in a couple minutes and no crashing. So
got hold to the wrong stuff.
Thank you.
That was Clay last night.
Exactly. Boy, I'm telling you, it was frustrating. I'm sure you guys could tell. My face just kept getting redder and redder. And this is why, just in case people are wondering, I did a little research, and they said all you need is, this is StreamYard, straight from their website, 5 megabytes per second upload speed. Look at your boy here. This is our speed test just seconds ago.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Exactly. So, anyway, hopefully we got everything straightened out. We're going to dive into some Zach Tom contract conversation here, as a tweet went out earlier today, and we will use the I'm glad you liked it, Ron. Ron said that was actually a riot last night.
Ron loves laughing at our pain, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Exactly. Everybody was just getting a kick out of me getting aggravated is what it was. But anyway, there was a tweet that came across Twitter earlier today about Zach Tom and how much he's asking for on his contract. We'll get into that. We'll definitely dive into the Nate Hobbs Chalk Talk. And if we have time, we'll do the LVN Chalk Talk as well. But again, guys, in the offseason, we don't want to try to stretch it into a double episode. There's no reason for that. We'll kind of hit everything rapid fire and roll right through. Is there anything you guys heard today, want to talk about, anything on the forefront of your mind as we sit here on June 25th? Closing in on training camp pretty quick, boys.
Zach Tom on my mind.
Yeah.
He wants north of 25 million. I say cut the check.
Cut it. You get that money laying around.
Pay that man his monies, man.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Emilio, I got the package in the mail today, man. The shareholder meeting package hit the mail today, so we opened that.
Now, how the hell do I live in Green Bay? I haven't gotten mine yet. You guys are in Tennessee. You already got yours.
I know it, man. I was looking on there, and I didn't see that, that you go through and you vote, right? You scan a little QR, and you got everything you vote on, and I'm like, man, I don't see where they're asking me about Zach Tom's contract. This is weird.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Exactly. We're going to wear that one out, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Emilio, you got anything? You listen to anything productive today?
Yeah. Dove into some pods, but man, it's kind of all baseline. Listen to the PFF pod. They were kind of just talking about, going through the teams. Who do you expect most to turn it up for the team or whatever? What it's going to bring? Their progress. Bears was Ben Johnson. And kind of leaning on him and what Caleb can do based on what Ben Johnson can do, building the O-line and building it around him. Detroit,
get ready to go.
Exactly. Detroit was one. We need Aiden Hutchinson back. They need that pass rush. Kind of just the basic stuff for the Packers. It was Matthew Golden, being excited and expecting a lot out of him, being able to stretch the field, open up underneath, kind of everything we really hit on. A lot of rinse and repeat, this time of year. But there was a move the sticks one. They kind of got into some stuff that maybe we can dive into tomorrow. I kind of need to re-listen to it. Honestly, thought I was gonna keel over, right? Like Clay, a couple gallons of water later today.
Well, I tell you, it got pretty rough on your boy out there today. I ain't gonna lie, and I take pride in not showing weakness, especially out there. There's nothing better than having customers come up to you in the middle of the summer and be like, I don't know how you boys do it. It ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. They said it a couple of times this week, and I went, yeah, we're trying to drink some water.
Yeah, you got a cold water for me? I'm going to pass out over here.
Just turn the hose on and spray you as soon as you get on property.
I told the guys I got a little groggy on the mower today, man. We were on about our 13th yard, And I got a little groggy. He's like, man, I'm sleepy. And then all of a sudden, like I said, my ass started getting a little lower to the ground. And I started kind of bad posture on the walk behind. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm about to pass out. Let me get over here and grab a drink real quick. So not that kind of drink either, you knuckleheads. So you can't be out there on the sauce in the sun, can you, Emilio?
No.
End up in the ditch. All right, let's jump into it. Zach Tom, alleged asking price revealed. All right, now listen, there goes the connection. It better not drop. If it does, you're going to hear my monitor break. I promise you that. So this was a tweet that came out from Chad Forbes, and I can't remember how many followers he has. He had a decent following. And I don't know exactly what the sources were, but he says in extension talks with Go Pack Go, obviously the Green Bay Packers, Zach Tom is asking for over $25 million per season per sources. All right. So I want to ask everybody in here in the chat, let us know. Let's keep it a good, nice, easy number there. 25 million. Would you be willing to pay Zach Tom 25 million average annual value? And now I'm going to talk about what I think that number is coming out of the gate, and then we'll break down his fair market value, all that stuff. Let's go around the horn with it once. Tim, I think I know your answer. You said it here at the top of the show. Would you be willing to pay Zach Tom $25 million average annual per?
Yeah, and I'll pay for the gas for the Brinks truck to back up and drop that off at his house, for sure. I think fair market is somewhere north of 21.5 or something they were saying. So if he wants to be north of 25, give him 26 and get it done, or whatever, 25.2 or whatever you got to do. But you got to pay the man his money, man. He's the best offensive lineman on our team.
Yeah. Bungee Cheddar Bug in the chat says, pay the man. H.E. Soder says, are you signing Rasheed Walker? If it comes down to him and Zach Tom, no. If it's something that you say, hey, look, we're going to sign both, I would be okay with Rasheed Walker getting an extension for the right price. Nowhere near, and I mean nowhere near that 25 million, right? Yeah. If you could get me Rasheed Walker for 10 million per on average, a little bit more guaranteed money to sweeten the pot for him a touch, I'd be okay with it. But not anywhere near Zach Tom. He has not played like Zach Tom. Rasheed Walker is a good pass blocker, not so good run blocking, that's for sure. 2-0 for this says, or I'm sorry, too full of youth for this. You guys, I swear.
He had to change his name. He's younger than all of us, so.
Right. He's worth more than that is what he says. Emilio, what do you think, man? 25 million, would you do it?
I think it's a screaming deal. That's almost a clearance tag right there. Or maybe that's one you can put on 12 months, no interest kind of payment there. But it seems like, it's like one of those, Clay, where you got the green bar in Madden, right? You got to re-sign him. He's happy with the team. He's got the green bar. Just don't lowball the guy. Give him a number he's happy with. Make sure it's something that you're comfortable with, obviously. But sometimes you just have to go ahead and do it. I mean, you paid Jordan Love, you went ahead and did it. Let's go ahead and protect we've been talking about building that wall, or at least I have for, months now. That thing needs to protect Jordan Love, right? So why bring in Banks and pay him and not go ahead and pay your right tackle that's given his blood, sweat, and tear already to this team?
Yeah. Ron Sample says, yes, 25 million. What about guarantees? For me, the guaranteed number, the closer you can get to 30 on the guaranteed, that's a screaming deal right there. Screaming deal. Do a 4-year, $100 million contract with $30 million guaranteed. The problem is I don't think he would take that. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be looking to get somewhere between 40 and 50 million guaranteed. And when you break it down like that, let's see, Chris the Casual win 100 for 4, 50 guaranteed. There you go. That I would be okay with that too, Chris. And the reason being is it's a 4-year deal, right? Let's say you do a 4-year deal with 100 million, 50 million guaranteed. The way that Goody likes to structure that, if for some reason Zach Tom falls off and he's not the guy that we've seen the first 3 years in the league, which I believe with everything in me, he is an absolute dog at right tackle. If that's the case, then after year 2, you're going to be able to get enough of that money back. You're going to be eating a dead cat, but you're going to come out in the black there, right? So I could be on board with that as well. I don't think that's a bad number that he just mentioned. Let's see here. What else we got in the chat? Ed Madden, if he asked for 25, give it to him. And you see, this is what I want to get into, Ed. I'm glad you said that, man. The fact that you've got to look into, okay, first of all, Chad Forbes, let's pretend, all right, let's assume that he knows what the heck he's talking about. There's one of 2 camps that this information got into Chad Forbes' hands from, either the Green Bay Packers or Zach Tom's agent.
Yep.
Right. And if you want to know Zach Tom's agent, it's this guy right here. I don't know if I trust this guy. This is Michael Hoffman with Slam, okay? He represents.
And that looks like a dude who gets guys paid for a living, man. Look at that guy.
That looks like a dude that Goody would just eat his lunch.
Paying everyone but his barber, right?
Damn, Tim coming in hot tonight. So anyway, if that is the case, who do you guys think leaked that out? I don't think the Packers leaked it out.
No,
right?
That's his camp for sure.
I think it's his camp. Maybe they're not happy with and listen, people are going to hear this. They're going to clip it and go, "Oh, Zach Tom's pissed off at the Packers." No, he's been to everything. I think he's the type of guy that would play on the current contract. He wouldn't hold out, me personally. But obviously, we don't want to go down that route. I think it's them maybe not – if it came from their camp, which I think we'd agree it probably did, probably not happy with the speed in which things are moving. So let's just amp it up a little bit. Hey, we're asking for $25 million. When I seen that number, I immediately thought, that's fair. I don't think anybody in the chat disagrees with it either, you know? So you do that and you put pressure on the Packers now like, oh, crap, okay. You know, it's
don't
out
offer
there.
17 milli. You know,
it's out there. He's not trying to become the highest paid tackle. That's out there in the public now. So it puts a little pressure on the Packers. Now, here's what I think is good news. Guys, when they say over 25 million per, it didn't say over 26. It didn't say over 28. It didn't say over 30. It says over 25. That's the starting point. So if the Packers come back at 18 million per, 16 million per, and then they come back and say, how about 21? Boom, deal done.
Right.
That's typically how these negotiations work, and the guaranteed money will determine the overall value of the contract. Obviously.
That's the big thing, right? The guarantee, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, and let's be honest, if Penei Sewell is worth north of whatever he is, 28 or 29 million.
28.
28? Okay, so I don't think it's unreasonable for Zach Tom to want to be north of 25. I really don't.
Right. I was just going to say, just looking at some of the top five based on value, you got Penei Sewell, Tim was saying, at 28 average. Christian Darrisaw, Minnesota, 26 average, and Brian O'Neill, Minnesota, 18.5 average. There's two teams, the Broncos and Minnesota, both have two tackles paid at the top 10 for value, over the contract. Obviously, some of them aren't over 25, but the fact that you have guys getting, teams that are paying two tackles at the same time brings up that Rashid point, but also, hey, you can afford to make that payment, man. If there's somebody in the North, there's two teams in the North that are making that payment right now. We can do the same.
Or like Clayton said too, right? You put it out there that you want north of 25. You'll take 21 or 22 or 20.
Oh, you're wheeling. You're wheeling and dealing. That's
or even lower if most of the contract's guaranteed, right?
Right.
Yeah. Deadfish in the chat says, what is he making this year? Looking at his contract, here's what's crazy. He got the escalator, right? It's the 2025 proven performance escalator available, the top tier of that. So his cap hit starting when he first came in the league, 2022, $831,000, $996,000, $1.1 million, and then last year he got the escalator. If you guys don't know what it is, Romeo Dobbs qualified for it as well. It goes to, I think, with playing time. There might be production attached as well, but it's in the CBA that these late round picks, if they play a certain amount of play time, then they'll get an extra little something in the pot there. His jumped to $3.5 million last year. And the reason I bring this up is Zach Tom has been a top 5 tackle, a top 5, probably a top 3 right tackle the last 2 years. And he was only 1.1 against the cap and 3.5 against the cap. 3.5 against the cap this year. I'm sorry. 2023, less than $1 million. 2024, last year, 1.1 million. So
time is over, right? We've been getting him for the low for too long. He's got to get paid.
Absolutely. Completely agree, Tim. So that's why I'm not gonna BS you guys. I'm a little worried that Goot's gonna insult him because we've seen this in the past, right?
Oh, Devontae Adams all over again?
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and different, they didn't do that to Devontae with his first contract extension. That's what's on our side here, right? Like they tend to treat that second contract a lot better than most guys.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's nothing there. I'm just saying that's in the back of my mind, like a little PTSD, like, a little worried about that. So let's talk about what the market value is here according to Spot Track. All right. Here's a market value breakdown. You guys know how this works if you are familiar with Spot Track's website. What they do is they find comparable players. Okay. Here are the 4 comparable players that they found: Penei Sewell, Jonah Williams, Spencer Brown, and Jawan Taylor. Okay, each of them, actually, Penei Sewell, Spencer Brown, and Jawan Taylor all signed 4-year deals. Jonah Williams signed a 2-year deal. Okay, the value in terms of average annual value or average annual salary is $28 million for Penei Sewell, 15 for Jonah Williams, 18 for Spencer Brown, and 20 for Jawan Taylor. Okay, and the ages in which they were signed: 23, 26, 26, and 25. What you're going to do is take all of those with the comp players and average it up. Okay, so the average will be 4 years, $73.5 million, with an average salary of $20.2 million, and the average age or the age when signed was 25. Right. So now you go to the base calculated value. Here's some of the key statistics, the key metrics in which teams truly negotiate contracts off of. All right. Game played percentage. Penei Sewell, 100%. Jonah Williams, 100%. Spencer Brown, 93. Jawan Taylor, 100. Okay. So that averages out to a 98.4 percent game played percentage. Zach Tom's is 97, so just a minus 1.45% change there. All right. Moving on to quarterbacks hurried allowed per game. Going down the line, starting at Penei Sewell, 1, 1.4, 1.9, 1.0, 1.3 is the average is 1.3. Zach Tom, 1.4. So slightly less value there as well at minus 4.4. All right. Now, quarterback sacks allowed per game, starting at Penei Sewell, 0.09, 0.61, 0.29, 0.32 for an average of 0.33. Look at Zach Tom, 0.15. Yeah. He made him some money there, right?
Yeah. There's Zach Tom, Penei Sewell, and everyone else when it comes to that, right?
So that's a positive game of 54.55. And then the rating, all right, the overall rating, it comes down to, let's see, 85.5, 59.8, 59.7, 59.5 for an average of 66.15. Look at Zach Tom's, 82.7. All right. So what you've got is a median prime change, percentage change of 11.7%, average prime percentage change of 18.4%. So that gives you your calculated market value for Zach Tom, sitting at 4 years, $86.7 million, 21.6 average annual salary. And it doesn't specify what the guarantees would be there on that. That's just the average annual salary. So if you were to be able to get him for 4 years, $86 million, guarantee him $50 million. I'm totally on board with that, right? Because that $50 million being fully guaranteed is way more flexible to be able to maneuver around the salary cap as opposed to salary and how roster bonuses, things like that work. So what's y'all's thoughts on that? Do y'all feel like that's a pretty fair assessment of his value? I think it's spot on, man.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad number at all. I was just going to ask you, Clay, do you think the 50 guaranteed has to be, no matter kind of what the deal is, do you think that it needs to be at least 50 guaranteed to make this move?
I think it needs to be at least $30 million. But if you're going to lower the overall, like we were talking about $100 million down to 86, the lower you bring that number, the more the guarantee needs to be.
I got you. That's what you're saying. Yep. Yeah,
players will typically take a less average annual value for more guaranteed money. And not practical guaranteed either. Signing bonus, the day of type thing, right?
Right.
Because you get into the fully guaranteed, right, of the contract, and that's where you get into some, just like Ja. That was considered guaranteed money, that $16 million. Well, he didn't get it. It wasn't guaranteed. Well, it's practical guaranteed, right? So if he made the roster, which we knew he wasn't going to because they were ready to move on. So, Tim, what do you think, man? How do you feel about that number there? 4 years, $86.7 million, man. Run that check over to the bank. Drive him over to the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Call him an Uber, whatever. Get him a limousine, gas up the chopper, whatever you got to do. Get the man paid.
Get to the chopper.
I think it's fair. I really do. And we got to remember, he just turned 26, I believe, a couple of months ago. So he's right in that sweet spot. You got to lock him in now. Mm-hmm. Keep him here past 30. Let's get it done.
Yeah. So when you look at the highest paid right tackles and average annual value across the league, let's just keep it sorted by average here, okay? Penei Sewell, $28 million. Lane Johnson, $25. Jawan Taylor, $20. Mike Onwenu, I think is how you say it. Onwenu, I think is how you say it. $19 million. Titus Howard, 18.6. Brian O'Neill, 18.5. Spencer Brown, 18. Taylor Moton, 17.5. Braden Smith, 17.5. Mike McGlinchey, Notre Dame's finest, 17.5. And Terrence Steele, 16.5. But again, you
Who?
You really want to key in on those comps, right? Those are the ones. And the thing that's going to help Zach Tom make that money, I'm telling you, is quarterback sacks allowed per game. And he might want to give Jordan a little kickback on that, because Jordan's ability to evade the sack, I remember that statistic about halfway through the season last year. We were like, man, this dude, he does not take sacks. It's one thing Jordan does well. Now, got to get better at the interceptions, obviously. But that number there, if you've got a quarterback that can get away from the sack, that helps with the negotiations for your contract if you're an offensive lineman, right? So, so there you go. And again, we just wanted to mention it was his sports agent is Michael Hoffman with Slam. That's who represents Zach Tom. So,
and that's just looking at right tackles too, that chart there, because I was looking at one with the left tackles. You have Tristan Wirfs as the highest paid at 28.12. Then you got Trent Williams 27.5, Christian Darrisaw 26. Then Lane Johnson actually at 25. He's a right tackle. So if Penei Sewell's 28 as a right tackle, Lane Johnson's 25 as a right tackle, is Zach Tom better than the next right tackle there, Jawan Taylor? Yeah, right. Yeah, I would say Zach Tom's definitely better than him, and Jawan Taylor's sitting at 20. So I think you can plop him kind of anywhere in between 20 and 28-12, and we would be extremely happy with it. Obviously, if we can keep it on the lower side of 25, we'd be ecstatic. But Goody cannot. I mean, I don't think he will, but Goody really can't just shortchange him on this one.
Yeah. Let's see here. Greg Rice in the chat. Where's Jacob on a date with AFAM's mom? And AFAM's mom says, not with me. I'm home alone eating a burrito. It's just so random, but yet specific. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right. Anything else on the Zach Tom contract there?
I mean, I feel like AFAM's mom and Zach Tom's agent have the same barber, you know?
It did kind of look like that, too. Let's get a comp here real quick. Drop it down. Let's see. Yeah, I see it. You're right.
Same kind of fade, right, going on.
Yeah. He's got to work on his eyebrow game to catch up to her. You know so. All right. What kind of burrito? Y'all are off the charts tonight, guys. All right. So anything else on the Zach Tom contract? I think we covered it pretty extensively. I think this is good news that they're on their way to getting this deal done, right? H.E. Solder says Packers need either Morgan, Glover, or Banks to hit at offensive tackle this year. Go ahead, Emilio.
No,
did we say Glover? Did we say Travis Glover?
Only reason I highlighted it, baby. Get that man a contract once he does something for us, right? And let's see how the offseason goes. But no, I get that, man. Morgan and Banks needs to hit because we paid him. Morgan needs to hit because we drafted him high. Yeah. And Glover just needs to hit for my sanity.
Unbelievable, man. When that playoff game happened against Philly and Glover had to come in, I was not happy, right? I wasn't happy with that. I was like, oh, man, But I did think the silver lining, Tim, was now Emilio was shut up about Travis Glover. Bro, he dug in deeper.
Come on now. You can't be putting him in first in a playoff game and not have a little bit of respect for the man.
Dude, that's why if he pops off this year, man, we're never going to hear the end of it.
If for some reason we come out to camp and Travis Glover's a story and they end up trading Rasheed Walker and we're thinking, yeah, Jordan Morgan's going to kick the left tackle, and they throw Travis Glover out there and he's the next David Bakhtiari, you have no idea how bad I want that to happen. Just because we're going to pull the clips from 2 years in a row of Emilio just drooling over this dude.
Well, because I remember somebody in the chat said Glover's not even going to make the 53. And, man, if he makes the 53, we are cooking with Crisco.
Yep.
Chuck Jaggers in the chat says the Packers are still walking backwards from those penalties.
Yeah.
Clint says Glover for long snapper. There you go. That might be his role. I'll take it. All right. Y'all ready to do some chalk talk, boys?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to start with Nate Hobbs here. We'll probably just do Nate Hobbs tonight, and then we'll jump into LVN tomorrow. I kind of crawfished on y'all. I said we do LVN tonight. Which would y'all rather do? I can load either up real quick. What would you guys rather do? The chat, real quick as possible. Do you want to see Nate Hobbs chalk, or do you want to see LVN? Let us know.
It's LVN. A win-win for me because we're on the defensive side of the ball, so right. I don't care what we do.
Everybody in the chat, let us know real quick. LVN or Hobbs? Deadfish says Hobbs. First 1 to 3. Bates says Hobbs. Wheeling, you on? Oh, my
It's like 3 Hobbs to me.
Yep, 3 Hobbs.
Redfish, Greg Rice, and Bates.
Nate Hobbs, it is, boys. Let's get into it. Now, you guys know the drill. If this is your first time here, sometimes the stream will go down when we show tape. Okay, it hasn't in a very, very, very long time. So if it does go down, just understand we are going to continue to be live on X and Rumble. Okay, so just be ready to hop over there if you want to finish watching it live. If you're watching later, we'll cut this video and we'll go ahead and throw it up as a separate video so you guys will have it. So here we go. Nate Hobbs. This was a fun one. It really was. The thing that I really wanted to find out here with the Nate Hobbs tape was, first and foremost, where did he line up? Did he truly line up in the slot all year long? And you can look at the charts and you can go through and look at the spreadsheets. Say, okay, yeah, they're showing slot, slot, slot. It's better to kind of get a feel for it of what they look like on tape. You know what I mean? So here we go. I'm going to have him circled every play. And he did play the slot predominantly last year. I think they said you can go back to 2022 and see where he played outside. But I thought the tape looked pretty good, to be honest with you, man. This was fun. I came away with the Nate Hobbs tape going, okay, to me, it feels like he is slightly better than Keyshawn Nixon. Okay, that's what it feels like. I feel very, very comfortable saying he's a better cornerback than Keyshawn Nixon. Now, he's not like Jair Alexander level, obviously. Well, let's just watch the tape here. All right, so here he is in the nickel. You can see he is in the slot, covering a slot receiver here against the Chargers, it looks like. All right, let's roll the tape. So they're playing a little off coverage here. Gonna run a little slant, little shake route. You see him break on the ball. Pretty darn good break right there, boys. Pretty darn good break.
Yeah, buddy.
So again, this is just him kind of playing zone, and we talked about this. This is what half plays the most, but that is really, really good read and recognition. Eyes on the quarterback. Great job breaking that pass up.
I can't help but watch the feet. Watch his feet as he chops down, and then he explodes as the receiver goes to his break. That's why he's all over it.
Yeah. The one thing I noticed too, Emilio, when I watched this tape the first time, first of all, I had to go through and watch the tape every snap once and then find the clips I wanted and come back to it. You don't see him getting beat over the top much. It seems like he plays things kind of safe.
Right.
And keeps his eye on the quarterback the entire time.
If you have that kind of athleticism where you can spring forward, off your back heels, obviously you're backpedaling, but you got to be able to spring right off there. I was kind of just seeing where the defense was going. It looks like they had kind of cloud coverage outside, but then you had 2 safeties high. So maybe like a Tampa 2, but you would think that backer was going to carry that vertical a little bit longer. But the fact that he can, you can still man up in a zone, right? Cover 3 match, cover 2 match, whatever it is, you're going to have to play a guy at some point. And that in route is bread and butter right there. If he gets beat, that's a problem.
This to me looks like it might be match. This guy is definitely playing half, right? And this guy to me looks like he's playing quarter, and you've got match here.
Okay, I got cover 6 then. I got you.
It's essentially a cover 6 match.
Okay.
And what we mean by that, guys, is this turns into cover 4 up here, and this over here is cover 2.
Right.
4 plus 2 is 6. That's what it looks like. And it looks like everybody's in zone except for the guy who's covering the number 1 up there. You see what I'm saying, Amelia? He's following him, right?
Yep.
So
he's in his hip pocket. And like I said, the edge, the corners on the edge match up to your man. If he goes vert, all right, let's carry him. But if it's right there on an out or an in, take that. Yeah,
for sure. All right, let's move on to the next play. So again, slot rep, good break on the ball. Nothing fancy. Keeps everything in front of him, right? So here we are now. He's back in the slot again. This is against, I believe, the Carolina Panthers, it looks like. Let's roll that beautiful beam footage and see what we got here. All right, zone again. Get the break on the ball.
Oh,
that should have been a pick. Should have been a pick right there. But look how he kind of baits him. Look how he United baits him here. You see what I did there? Look, it's almost like he's like, I'm just kind of sitting. Nope, got you.
He was playing with him. No, I'm just backpedaling. I'm just trying to get my feet easy. Come on, Sam Darnold.
Terrible read because the guy was open in the flat. Watch.
Yeah, it was the age
wide open in the flat.
That was his man too, Tim. His man was the one that's going to be wide open.
It was just bad read by a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see too. Like, let's see what the call is. Yeah, you're no doubt about it. He was probably playing curl flat there. I would imagine. And what that means is you're dropping. If this guy breaks, you should be covering the flat. Now, they could have been giving it to him too. I don't know. But, again, the thing I focused on is just reading the quarterback, right? Let's see, though. Did he break? The ball's already coming out when he breaks.
Yeah, he's breaking on that ball for sure.
Yeah, so it's not like right there, he's still playing his assignment pretty sound, you know. He just good reaction, man, for sure. All right, so
You
Bill,
think it could have been
you want to haul that in though, right?
what's that, Emilio?
I was just saying, do you think that could have been an RPO or that was just play action? Just because that was my only other thought was that top corner. He was already coming downhill anyway. He really didn't even cover that dude. The dude above Nate Hobbs really was just already turning it inside and paying attention to. He didn't even care about the dude behind him. You know what I mean? Like the safety's got coverage on that guy.
I see what you're saying, trying to figure out if it's an RPO or not, and him just maybe recognizing. To me, though, the proof is with how the line is blocking.
Didn't get upfield. Right.
See how they're not really run blocking? They're just kind of pass. I don't know, 63 though there. Right? Yeah.
Got lost. Shouldn't be up there, bub.
If you're the only one getting to the next level, you probably made a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right, next play. Let's get into it. Again, in the slot, covering the 2 in this bunch set, right? What I mean by bunch, you got 3.5 diamond pattern, close proximity, and you're going to see he's going to be covering what we call the 2. When you hear me say the 1, 2, and 3, you count outside in. So there's your 1, 2, there's your 3. That's an easy way for people to communicate, coaches to communicate. All right, you're taking the 3 here. If the 3 goes vert, you're taking the 3. If the 2 attacks the flat, you go with the 2. That's what they're referring to when you hear somebody say the 1, 2, or 3. Outside in always. All right, let's roll the tape. So he's covering the 2. Now look at this. Oh, we got a bubble screen. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, block. And this guy's running a bubble screen, okay? So they're just going to look to swing that ball out. The problem is you got a dog right here that's going to sniff this out. Watch Nate. Bang.
Hello.
That's the stuff that he does well. Physical tackler, right? And he's very aggressive towards the ball. What a great tackle, man. Now, Coach Lynn's probably cringing because he did have his head down. They do not teach that, right? But you don't want to lead with the crown and the helmet. But man, that's a stick guy. That's a safety hit right there. That ain't a corner hit.
Mm-hmm. That's a bite the football right there, one. And what we've seen so far, he's not afraid to play on the line of scrimmage. I know everyone was complaining about being deep and 10 yards off the ball and all that stuff. He's not afraid to stick his head in there and also play guys up, up close and personal.
Yeah, and clearly he's effective downhill like this. Once he commits, it's a wrap.
Yeah. So again, to me, the strengths that we're seeing, guys, is quick reactionary break on the ball, right? And he plays with physicality. That's the thing that we're seeing, right?
Yep.
He doesn't look like overly fluid, It's not like, wow, he looks really smooth out there. It's just read and react, keep your eyes on the quarterback, and he attacks the freaking football.
See the little stutter there too? Like the little stutter here,
start,
and then
shoot,
explode.
baby.
Yep, start, stop, shoot. I love it.
Honestly, just an ugly play from Andy Dalton there. Take the quick release. You got everybody screaming at you. Looks like 0 man across the board.
You know what?
Is he still playing football?
He shouldn't be
working at.
He got in a car accident. Didn't he bust his finger open in a car? That's why Bryce took back over.
You know what we just noticed here too?
Yeah.
There may have been a mistake, guys. So, but it looks like a bubble screen. This guy's going to block, but this guy's kind of running a lookie, right? So I'm wondering if this guy, ran a route when he was supposed to block.
When he was supposed to,
this.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because look at 17's looking for work, right?
Yep.
So it's almost like, when Andy Dalton comes out here and looks, he's thinking, okay, typically the way this works is block, and just the leverage you got on the bubble screen takes this guy out of the equation because he's just going to hit the sideline and get lost in those bodies, right? So the fact that he doesn't block the 2, which is Nate Hobbs, it's probably why Nate Hobbs hesitates. He's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, right.
You understand?
But he kind of went at the dude. I think a lookie was built in there, Clay. Watch how he comes at the guy. I'm around him. You know what I mean? Like he kind of went in on that guy. All right, the bubble could be there, but I think Dalton made a bad read there. That lookie is where you want to go with that because look at everybody on the line. You probably got one deep safety, and then everybody else is up on the line.
Yeah. Yep. Coach Lynn in the chat agrees with you. Quarterback has the option to throw the lookie route. So, yeah, if you
which he would have had if he would have threw a little pump fake, maybe held it for another half second.
That's the decision you got to make. Like, if there's a lookie baked in there, then I agree with you, Emilio.
Oh, no, that's everybody on the line. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? I think that's everybody right there. I don't even think there's a deep safety.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're right. You gotta throw that lookie. If that's baked in, it sounds like it probably was. Yeah, that's a horrible decision if you've got a lookie and not just two receivers blocking.
No safety over the top. That's that double mug. That's that double mug zero blitz in college football, Clay, right there.
You're running that online all the time, don't you?
All the time.
All right, up next, looky here, boy. Playing a little deeper this time.
Double mug blitz.
So here we go. This is what Emilio's talking about. You count them at the line: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, mugging the heck out of the box, and that leaves you with just 3 guys in coverage. So this has got to be man, right? Unless they're disguising some kind of zone,
right?
They could be mugging and dropping. Let's see what happens here. So he's covering the 2. Nate Hobbs is right. Ball snapped. This looks like it's man coverage to me with a little drop underneath, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, a little matchy. But look at the break. Once again, you see him breaking on the ball, right? The ball's out. Pretty darn good ball, too. But, again, people will see this and go, man, he got cooked here. The ball should have been caught, right? Here's the thing, though. Go back to the original play call. Look how many guys are at the line of scrimmage. Now, they drop them out.
Yep.
Oh, they get the D tackle drop.
Yeah, I was going to say they dropped him out, but they dropped TJ Slayton back there to try to catch something.
So once again, what you see with Nate Hobbs is just playing the defense safe here, right? Keep everything in front of you, break on the ball, make it a hard completion, and good vision and break, which is what Hafley talks about all the time, right? Vision and break.
Yep.
So
he kind of anticipates it a little bit too. I mean, he's if that guy's really kind of throttling down, he's got to go some way, right? He's going either inside or outside. I better be ready to spring on that.
Yeah. All right, next play. So here we are in a goal line situation, baby. We are on the 3-yard line. Now he's covering the 3. It looks like Dump Truck has got the 2 in the tight end. He's got the 3, Nate Hobbs does, and the other corner's got the 1. Let's see if this is man coverage or what. Kind of looks like man, the fact that they walked our boy Spillane out. I think that's Dump Truck Spillane. Mm-hmm. They walk him out on the tight end, which is probably Fryermuth. Let's see what happens here. They're probably going to run some kind of rub route, I would imagine. Yep. So you see it setting up. What they're looking to do is just have him sit and run a pick while staring at the quarterback like he didn't run a pick, right? And you got a guy working the inside release, and I think this is Pickens going to try to work outside. So the goal is to get Nate Hobbs caught up in all this traffic right here, right? Let's see how he reacts to it.
Oh, beautiful.
Not bad. Probably should have been a tutter, right? But watch Hobbs the entire time. He does everything he can on this play, and it falls in.
He slipped the defender and his teammate in one motion. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Kind of reminds you of how Keyshawn Nixon plays with good balance, I'm not saying Keyshawn Nixon's a great corner, but one thing about Keyshawn, man, he works really, really well when bodies are around him, just like Jacob does at work, you know what I'm saying? But he does really, really well when there's multiple bodies around. Like he doesn't lose concentration in that regard.
I think if Fields throws a better ball there, it's a tutter.
Yeah. And it does hit him in the hands too. Like, he's expecting that high and outside, and he had to kind of come back to it, didn't he, Tim? Yeah.
Yep. But great job by Hobbs. I mean, let's not lose the focus here. Like,
still gets a
him even being there, because if he doesn't get through and doesn't slip through there, that's a easy tutter because he's butt naked through the trailer park if he doesn't get home,
Right.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Up next, they got another bunch set. This is against the Rams. So you see the bunch. Looks like they're going to run some kind of cheat motion outside here. And it looks like Hobbs is squared up on the 2. And
8 on the line of scrimmage again.
They love that zero mug.
I was going to say, they tell you, they got confidence in their secondary.
All right, so now that they cheated him out, you see he's kind of on the 2 here, right? Look at him just square up, read the quarterback. Oh, look at off the tip drill. Let's go. We off to the races, baby. So, again, this was his interception last year, and you see interception in the stat column, and you think, great, that's awesome. Listen, he did everything he was supposed to do, but this wasn't like a perfect jump the route type pick. The ball was tipped by Spillane, went right into his hands. But, again, look at his break on the ball, vision and break. As soon as the 2 chops it down, he knows where he's going. Bang.
I'll tell you what I like is after the interception, his presence as a ball carrier. Look at him running upfield here. Cuts it in, cuts it back out, back in.
Yeah.
Protecting the football. I love it.
Stafford was just pissed off. Stafford didn't even try to make the tackle. He went after a blocker. Watch Stafford the entire time. Watch this, guys. Look, he doesn't even focus on Hobbs. He's like, I'm going to go over and hit this guy. Come here, you. Bang. Didn't even have the football.
It cost him another 5 yards. Too.
Yeah, right. So again, there was Nate Hobbs' interception last year. So can't chalk that up as a great play. You know what I mean? Just kind of tipped into his hands, but I do like the return ability there too, man. He got a little spunk in him for sure. All right, next play. Here we go against the Chiefs. A little bunch nasty set here. You see the half diamond, nasty split inside the numbers. Everybody's nasty across the board. This is what we would call bunch nasty X from the Chiefs' perspective. All right, so once again, he's lining up over the 2, okay? Hobbs is. And let's see what the play call is. Oh, we got a little smoke screen. See our boy Kelsey? I'll run a little smoke. So they're looking to get a body out here, maybe another body out here somehow to help seal it off. Let's see what happens here to Kelsey. We got Hobbs fighting.
Oh, yeah. Refuse to be blocked. I love it.
It's what he does well, man. Look, he just engages, throws the dude to the side, and makes the tackle.
Oh, beautiful.
I love that the Chiefs dude tried to play it off. Like, no, come on, Travis. We're going up to – oh.
Yeah, right. And that's what you call a smoke screen there, guys. Rather than a bubble, you just kind of step back, take the screen, get a couple blockers out in front. Nate Hobbs blows it. That's how you're taught.
I mean, Hobbs basically blocked the one guy into his teammate right here. Yeah. Bang, bang. So you're winning the hat count right there just off of what Hobbs is doing.
That's what you're taught to do on those smoke screens too, Tim, is just attack the blocker and drive him back into the play. It's almost the equivalent to attacking the mesh point on a zone read. Just create havoc at the catch point, you know?
Absolutely.
And you know what? He's not afraid to be close to the line of scrimmage either.
And if you drive one of their players back into the play, that's not pass interference. He's not the receiver, right? He's out there blocking. So, to the best of my knowledge, but yeah. So, and the fact that he tackled Kelsey too, you know, that's not an easy player to tackle. All right, up next. So now they're going to show a little motion here. You know how the Chiefs like to get creative. They're on the 6-yard line, so well within the 10-yard line, and they got another bunch nasty X look. Now they're going to they're shifted from quad left to bunch nasty X. And again, where's our boy?
Hobbs is basically playing linebacker here.
Yeah. So what he did was he motioned over, didn't he, Tim? And he's looking to cover this guy out of the backfield, which is that Mecole Hardman, number 1?
No, I thought Hardman was.
I can't remember what his number was. He may have been hurt last year too. It seemed like he did miss some time.
I thought he was 9, maybe.
So they're trying to decipher this whole play, right? Everybody's trying to decide who they got, right? Who's got this guy's just kind of hanging on for dear life because the 3 DB is lined up on the 2, which makes the 3 and Kelsey free right now, right? How is he going to get to Kelsey, right? Let's watch what happens out of the backfield. So they're trying to set it up.
Wow.
So that arrow route or whatever you want to call that arrow route, what's it called? A shoot route. So that's a shoot route. For those of you who are wondering, when you hear us say shoot, that's what I call it. Yeah, I've always heard it called. If it's a swing, they'll swing out, right? If it's a flat, they'll kind of attack the flat. But on a shoot route, they just go diagonally straight toward the pylon top look. So watch Hobbs through traffic again, right? Look at the finish too.
Dude.
Bang. Ball
he
out.
Was all over that before the ball even was released.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he sniffed that out a mile away.
So again, this is what you're seeing. The strength of his game is attacking the underneath stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, and it was a dead giveaway when he goes in motion when they bring him into the backfield, right? Pat Mahomes goes, okay, that's my man right there. All I need to do is make sure that he gets hung up in traffic, which he did, and then you think that Pat Mahomes saw a touchdown right there. Like
it was a touchdown.
Yep.
It looks like one, doesn't
it? Look at that right hand at the end. Bang, incomplete now. That's a completed pass if he doesn't finish this play. Look at catch, turn, bang, ball comes out. Great defense.
And not only that, Tim, if he doesn't break the way he does here too, man.
Yeah, it's a walk-in.
Yeah. Like watch how quick he breaks on this play. Recognize it right there. Pat Mahomes has not let go of the ball yet, and he knows exactly where he's going.
He said, I have got to get a move on.
Bang. Really, really like how he plays underneath. I want him in the slot, guys.
He's going to fit in perfect with this defense, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we do, right?
Yeah. So now the battle becomes, there ain't no battle, right? It's going to be Keyshawn Nixon on the outside, one side, Carrington Valentine on the other, and Nate Hobbs in the slot's what it's feeling like. It really is. So if that's the case, then you got Bull coming out of the bullpen in the slot, playing a little safety. If who knows, he may beat Evan Williams out this year. It might really click year 2. It might. So how do y'all feel about that? Do you think Hobbs is going to be in the – we'll talk about it after Chalk Talk.
I feel like some more big nickel, baby. Let's get them all out there.
Now, right when I said that, people are going to hold up. Now he's on the outside, Clayton. What's the set? What's the personnel? Notice it. That looks like a tight end to me right there. This probably a tight end, might be a running back. That's definitely a tight end. So at a bare bones minimum, it's 12 personnel, right? One running
the
back.
guy on the line's got to be Darnell Washington, right?
Got to be.
Top there. So
look at the hips on that guy. That's got to be Darnell Washington. Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. So to me, this is at least 12. It might be 13. So again, that's why Hobbs is on the outside, right? So when we go to our base 4-3, when we're matching 12 or 21 personnel, he's going to stay on the field and play outside, right? And they'll probably pull either Keyshawn or Carrington off the field, you know. And you know how I feel about it. I want Carrington on the field. Keep him out there, you know. Yeah. So and here's the other thing. I mean, based on the money that they've paid Hobbs, he's going to be on the field for nickel and base, right? There's no doubt about that. The question is, who comes off for base defense, our base 4-3? Is it going to be Carrington or is it going to be Keyshawn? That's going to be the question. Let's see what happens here on this. So he's covering the 1, right? So it's a run. Okay, all right. Now we're getting into a couple of run stops. All right, let me set this up for you guys because it's going to be fun, man. So again, they're in a run personnel, right? Run heavy personnel with a 12 or a 13 look, depending on the personnel that they got on the field. So watch Hobbs play this run. All right. Get him get in here. Patient. Bang. He finishes. I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah, but get that head up, Nate. Keep that head up.
Yeah. Watch the Steelers stripe on his helmet bounce back right here. See his head? Like Hobbs laid the wood right there. Watch the Steelers helmet. Yeah. Coming
from 10 yards back, nonetheless, too.
Yeah. But you see how he's still patient? Like, it'd be real easy just to try to attack the inside. He knows I got to contain outside. I'm kind of the last level of defense. So you're playing corner, but it's almost like safety, you know?
Right.
So.
Oof. I don't know that. I love it, but that looks awfully similar to Nick Collins' last play he ever played type of hit here. Keep that crown of that helmet up.
Yeah. All right, next play. So now we're back against the LA Rams. Looks like he's lined up on the 2. It's going to be a running play to Kyron Williams in the middle. Look at him attack. He played that like a linebacker, boys.
He just didn't even care about the dude coming at him to block him. Nope, I'm going right. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, poor Tutu Atwell, right? He didn't know what to do. He's like, my guys, watch out. That's one of those watch out blocks. But look at him get in there, boys. Love it. Kyron Williams had I'm pretty sure it was Kyron Williams. He had a pretty good year last year, too. All right, here we go again. Look at him attack the run. Bang.
He's like, dude, I've seen that motion before in film.
Yep. So he's covering the 2. They motion over, no hesitation. Let's just attack the football. So I'll tell you this, man. Our run defense is going to be – it's definitely not going to be worse than it was last year where we were the second best run defense in the league. It's not going to be worse than it was last year with the Nate Hobbs signing. It could get worse, but it's not going to be because of him, man.
Right.
One of his strengths is definitely his physicality. He plays the cornerback position like safety. He really does.
And I'm super happy he can perform like this close to the line of scrimmage. I know everyone's been begging for that, but the fact that he's not afraid to, 1, get down and dirty in the trenches, and then 2, able to man up a dude when he's, in bunch or nasty, but, within 5 of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. So, again, who was it said in there? He avoids Ed Madden said he avoids blocks well. He really does, man. Again, that's kind of that fearlessness, right? Like just navigating through big bodies, So there you go. That's Nate Hobbs Chalk Talk. I thought it was fun, man. Again, you don't see him giving up big plays very often. His passer rating when targeted, I think, was 71 according to NFL Pro. Gave up what was it? He gave up? Was it 1 touchdown? I can't remember now. I think he might not have given up any touchdowns, but really, really good passer rating when targeted. I'm not sold on him being an outside corner in the nickel. I think he fits the slot in our nickel 4-2-5, and then play him outside in the base type thing. But let me ask you guys that as we get ready to wrap up. What's your take on that? Where do you think Nate Hobbs fits in the best? How would you like to play him? Start with you, Emilio. Where do you want him lining up at? Do you think there's a chance he plays outside in the nickel or no?
I would say at this moment, no, just because I'm hoping Carrington is that kind of guy. I think that he's made a name for himself, but I think that it could be a rotation. Yeah, Keyshawn got a lot of reps last year, but if they like Hobbs, if they can kind of move those guys around, I think Hobbs coming in from the slot to go outside, he can handle that two-way go. Where Keyshawn kind of got hung up on some of those two ways. I think that they're going to kind of want him in that slot, especially, they wouldn't be afraid to have him in running and passing situations based off what we just saw.
Yeah. What about you, Tim?
I agree. I think Keyshawn should stay on the boundary. And if we're going to have a rotation, it should be Bullard and Hobbs in the slot for sure.
Got it. Ed Madden says CV boundary, Hobbs slot, Nixon outside.
Yep.
I like it. So he's saying Nixon field side, Hobbs in the slot, and CV on the short side of the field. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, man.
And thank you, Gangster Goody, for the free agent acquisition. We appreciate your service. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, I don't expect him to be like a number one corner. I don't. But for the price, and we talked about that, it's really a 2-year deal is what it is. And based on the prices across the league, I think it's a pretty damn good deal on him for sure. So gonna be fun, man. Gonna be fun to see how he plays, and you feel a lot better about the fact that Bullard played his best football last year in the slot, right? He played way better in the slot than he did safety. It's just based off of my, me watching the tape. You feel really, really good knowing that Bullard is now the backup slot. If you do get banged up, you're in a spot where, like, let's say Carrington gets injured, right? Okay, Nate, we're going to have to play you outside. Bring Bullard into the slot, So,
or we talked about Bullard kind of struggling a little bit at safety with the coverage. If we had an issue with the injury at safety, we could always kick Hobbs back there, put Bullard in the slot. Hobbs has played the safety position before. So there's that versatility factor.
Right. Yeah. United Bates says, Greg, cross your fingers. I'm going to gift some memberships, and bang, he did it. Gifted 10 Packer Fan Total Access memberships. Guys, I told you the other day, I had some people asking, hey, can we get back in on the giveaways? Because they don't contribute on Patreon. They're contributing on YouTube. We're going to get back to doing that. So listen, you want to give people what they want. And when you got multiple listeners, multiple viewers saying, hey, can we get back in on the giveaways? We did that. I've explained it 5,000 times, and I know some people are going, please don't explain it again, but there might be someone new in here. When we do the giveaways, anybody who's a member of the Patreon group, we put your name on a wheel, we spin it, and give away memorabilia. This week, we're going to be giving away an autographed Kingsley Enagbare card this weekend, okay? A rookie card. In the past, we would include people who were members here on YouTube. You can just hit the join tab, and you can become a member here on YouTube. You get access to custom PTA emojis, things like that. But it also got you entered into the contest. We pulled away from that because the channel got demonetized for a short bit, and everybody just lost their memberships. And I felt really bad about it. I'm like, man, that's crap. So let's create somewhere where that doesn't happen again, and everybody will, that's what Patreon's for. So I will always say, if you can choose Patreon over being a YouTube member here in the channel. But the YouTube members, we're going to start including you guys back in the giveaways again. Okay, So we'll go back to doing that. So, Bates, thank you so much for doing that, buddy.
And Clint, the armchair quarterback, also gifted 10 right behind that.
Oh, nice. Let me throw that up there. Appreciate you, Clint. You are the man, dude. 10 memberships. Thank you so much, bud. All right, boys. Anything else y'all want to hit on before we wrap up? Man, this was fun. And we'll get into LVN Chalk Talk tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll have some other topics as well. Anything else?
I'm excited to see Hobbs. Right, Tim? Excited to see Hobbs get out there. And like I said, I kind of want to see if Hafley's going to rotate him a little bit more than we think. I don't know if Nixon's always going to be on for all 12, 1,500 snaps we have. I don't think Key's going to be on for all 15. I think that it's going to be a little bit of a team effort. Like Clay was talking earlier, maybe we do bounce him outside if we're in base. Really just kind of depends on what we're thinking, what we're feeling.
I would fully expect to see those kind of looks at camp and then going into preseason for sure. And having a guy like Nate Hobbs and the versatility factor will allow Hafley to work in Kalen King, work in some of these younger corners into the mix and see what we have going into week 1. So I would expect, camp and preseason games, we should see a heavy dose of rotation for sure.
Yeah. This chat, man. Greg Rice, Mom, are you full of burritos? Hey, fam's mom, not after that trip to the bathroom. Phew. I love how everybody just calls her mom now. This is so awful. It's so unhinged. All right, guys. Again, the best way to support what we do here.
Poop my hand, so.
The best way to support what we do here is join the Patreon community, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, or scan the QR code in the upper right. That probably don't work because this show sucks, but we'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for some more PTA Live. We'll break down some LVN Chalk Talk, and we'll also dive into some other Packers talk. We appreciate everybody so much. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Be serious for a second a minute. Oh, my God. Go, Pack, go.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.